we get a week and to get to shift some things over. So I wanted to go and do some talking points that were brought into the comments that I think are great to be able to talk about on to the show itself, and from people, because as I've always said, you can go ahead and make comments during the lives, make comments on underneath the YouTube videos, on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitch as well, if you get a chance. So wanted to be, bring some of it on, because I genuinely just enjoy whenever we have these conversations. So let me bring on. All right. Hang tight. Make sure you guys are seeing the right ones. All right. So let's talk a little bit on what we have going on. So one question that we talked about, it was about cyberbullying on the on Steve Borthwick talking about cyberbullying killing rugby. We talked about it on the episode last week. My guy Rit the Rugger 160 said, I agree. The problem is that it's become a spectator sport. They've been changing the game laws over the last couple decades to make it more fun to watch and less fun to play. It's not the spectators that are leaving, it's the players. Most of the matches that are played across the world have no spectators, yet most of the laws changes are designed to make it better to watch. Why has this been going on? So somebody can make a lot of money. So I agreed and disagreed with Rit the Rugger's points there. Shout out to my boy Benji Haswell, talking about Nigerians are everywhere. I swear, love from your favorite Saffer. Of course, much love to you, Benji. Also recognize the takeover. All right, recognize the takeover. If you didn't have us, where would you guys be? Less happy. I'm gonna just say that. But to answer Rit the Rugger's point, I do agree that they've made a lot of changes to rugby to be able to make it more fun to watch. I don't agree with that. I don't think they've done a great job of making it more fun to watch. They just made it a little bit more confusing game with an attempt to make it more fluid. And I think also for lawsuit purposes, nobody wants to get hit by concussion CTE lawsuits in the back end. But that being said, whenever saying it's so somebody can make a lot of money, I disagreed with that, because I can say that nobody's making a lot of money in rugby. Like, there's nobody making a lot. There's a lot of people spending money. There's a lot of passion in the business of rugby, but there isn't anybody making, not even top 14 has a bunch of billionaires that spend money, but they're not making a ton of money off from it. So from that standpoint, I think that's why they're trying to make it more of a spectator's game and put things into place. Now, we talked with McFeely, obviously, about last week, and he spoke about the fact of investing in grassroots. This was in regards to the USA Hawks and going to Charlotte and all that. And again, it goes back to, what are you building from the base up? Are you creating a base that grows with you? And that means you can have both the spectator and then people that play. And I talked about this. You'll see this in the interview that we do coming up with the Great American Rugby. But I feel like there's been a clash between recreational rugby and spectator rugby. We see it a lot in the US, and then it's kind of been working its way through. George Hook even spoke on it being changed from a player sport to a spectator sport. If we're losing a lot of players, that means we're probably not pushing in a lot of people in the grassroots, which means we're also losing a lot of spectators. It's hard to say, but I can definitely say nobody's making money off of this, and they're just not doing a great job. But it does mess it, and it creates that bullying aspect to be so detrimental to the overall sport. So big thanks to Rit the Rugger on that. He also asked about the Argentina thing. He said, is this the same organization that Glendale is working with down there? And yes, talking about Talking about this was on the video talking about Argentina's what I like to call their imperialistic rise in rugby as they spread themselves. So there was a talk about them creating a super rugby team again to be able to compete, creating a super rugby, bringing a super rugby team over from Tonga with the Drua, and bringing them to Hawaii, and then Argentina putting obviously talking about their impact with Miami Sharks as well, with a lot of Argentinians going there and seeing that spread. So with that being said, American Raptors are the team that play in the Super Rugby South, Super Rugby Americas. The Dogos are the primary team that are playing with the Argentinian sides down there for their Super Rugby League down there in Super Rugby Americas. But it's with American Raptors that are playing down there. That is the same one. But again, man, shout out to Argentina. Again, have been able to be what should be a blueprint of how to use club play, loyalty over, albeit 70, 80 years, to be able to create successful programs that can do it. Benji says franchises better start connecting with their fans. The Sharks in Durban are falling apart despite the investment, as marketing is garbage. Ground up approach is required. 100% agreed. And this is why, like what Mick said, but when you learn about what Argentina does, they literally have mastered the ground up approach, being basically a tier 2 country that's been able to overproduce and succeed as a tier 1, because they are a tier 2 country and by all intents and purposes. USA Rugby League Union fan talking about World Rugby and USA Rugby making a new professional team. What a shocker this Charlotte thing is. Yes, it is. We're going to see how it all goes down. I'm not 100% sure. Like, there's people who are still doubting it. The USA Hawks have been in existence. They tried to do their things for Super Rugby. I'm not 100% sure what they're going to fully emphasize out of it, but you know, shout out to Charlotte at least getting their rugby stuff back. And it goes to something that, again, Rick the Rugger, our guy, 160, talking about it. He's like, I know it's not the same group, but I'm happy for Charlotte. I remember playing the Charlotte RFC back in the 70s. Charlotte was Charleston RFC's favorite enemy, which we always love a good rivalry. There was nobody we would rather outplay and outparty. Impressive organization. Hell, they had their own pitch clubhouse way back in the 70s, for Christ's sake, which is something that is, again, needs to be said. And maybe not necessarily all of the can get the clubhouse, but you need a real estate. And we talked about this in a few episodes talking about MLR, but this revolves around most clubs. You need a real estate where people can gather and that there is value in the membership outside of playing. And that's where you have a real marketing plan and develop into creating sustainable grassroots. I want to send it up to Benji again, hitting it back. What are you doing? Come on. There we go. There we go. Here we go. So talking about the Sharks again, the Durban Sharks. Sharks went from being a team that had to support all over KwaZulu to now branding themselves as the Durban Sharks, thereby alienating the rest of the states. Extremely stupid. And I remember we had a conversation in the comments about the way that South African fans go and watch rugby, where it is not about the individual players, but it is about the team. So if you're creating separation from the team, the separation from the community and the team into each other, you're going to put yourself into a position where you're not going to win. You're just not going to win. And it's going to absolutely hurt your overall brand. And I think, again, we're seeing it. We got to build back from the grassroots up.
I ain't convinced. Black out of 10.